B-Mod's coming out next, and this is going to be a pretty good one. I think we got some really good cars that have got to qualify in through a B main. Some cars we normally see battling for a win have got to fight just to get to the A main.
Yeah, we got some dandy B features coming up for your B modifieds. Some really, really tough competition. And we've already seen that a little bit already in the A modifieds. Some good cars getting left out of the show. Here they come onto the speedway.
Don Mars.
And right there on the front row, it's going to be Don Mars in the number 9 car. Jimmy Cummings on the outside in the number 19 car. Row number 1. Row number 2, you got the number 29 of Jace Gay. Maggard on his outside. Looks like we're going to get a green flag right here. As they coming off turn number 4. Souther in the 4 car.
Down the backstretch, they go 3 wide off turn number 2 into turn 3 and 4 for the first time. It's a 9 car of Mars out in front.
Mars is your leader as he comes off the corner. Jace Gay in the number 2 spot. Down on the bottom side, here comes the number 32 car. And that is Brent Fielder. Brent Fielder in the number 32 car. Making up some ground right there on the bottom side.
19 car Cummings also really strong down the backstretch, making the bottom line work as 4 cars all locked together make it 5 off turn number 4.
And number 19 car Cummings is your leader. 3 wide as they come through turn 1 and 2. Jace Gay trying to keep that car down on the bottom. Now problems for Mars. The number 9 car in smoke as he comes through 3 and 4.
Continues to run out on the racetrack, so must be a rear end problem as he continues to race, and now slow on the racetrack and will be headed off.
Tough break for the number 9 car.
Cummins out in front now. Fielder runs in the number 2 spot. Gay in the 3 position. Two to go as they come across the start-finish line this time. Jimmy Cummins out in front. Brent Fielder runs in second.
Field kind of spread out right now. Kenny Pike in that number 5 position, trying to run down Maggard for 4th. But it's running out of time as the white flag has come out. 1 more lap to go.
Jimmy Cummings bringing him down the backstretch, running the bottom side of the speedway along with Brent Fielder. Off turn number 4, bringing it down to the start-finish line. Jimmy Cummings will win it. Brent Fielder finishes up in second, Jace Gay third.
All right, nice little B feature right there.
That's a tough break there for the 9 of Don Mars. He and his wife Donna, the owners of Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City. So great to see them come down and see a little bit of different racing operation there. Made a little news this week as they're working on a pure stock and E-mod type similar rules package in that Kansas City area. So some rules kind of in a state of flux in that area, so something to keep your eye on. But glad to see Don Mars down here to check it out. He and Mike Johnson bought that from longtime track owner Mark Olson up there, and then Don Mars now the sole owner there. So neat to see them here.
Yeah, pretty cool. Owner of the Lakeside Speedway, take a little time out to do a little racing on his own.
Mike Artherton is going to be your pole sitter in the number 2X. Johnson on his outside in the number 88. Row number 2, you got Gordon Goyer, I believe, in the 20. Make that Chris Rattery in the number 20. Cody Ryder in the number 21 on his outside. Monger in the number 31. And I believe Tarkington in the number 2. Off turn number 4. 2. Get it right here in a little bit here. They come now through 3 and 4.
Artherton leading the way, trying to get away from the rest of the field. Corey Johnson in the number 2 spot with company coming.
J.C. Morton was slicing his way through the field as they went through 3 and 4. As we come to 3 and 4 this time, he's going to be battling for the number 3 spot, and he has it.
J.C. Morton up to 3rd, looking for 2nd now, away from Corey Johnson. He'll dive it down into the bottom of the speedway in 3 and 4.
Johnson up to the top side. Here comes Morton around the bottom. He'll have the number 2 spot as they go into turn number 1. Johnson back down to through the middle of the track now, not able to get it back.
J.C. Morton up into a transfer position, running the top side of the speedway. Artherton a half a straightaway out in front.
Trouble in the back of the pack. A spinner over in turn number 4. Gets it refired, but the caution comes out.
You know, JC's situation not a lot unlike what Mitch Keeter dealt with earlier on tonight. So I wish JC the best. Hopefully he can get this thing in the show, and he'll definitely put on a show from mid-pack in the feature coming up later on tonight.
Yeah, and right now, JC making the bottom of the racetrack work to get to the front, and then immediately goes to the top side. So just tells you he can run anywhere on the racetrack he needs to.
So Chris Clonch, that shoots a lot of photos and videos and whatnot, during that Beaumont heat race where JC went high up on the track in 4, Chris was positioned where JC was headed right towards him. And Chris said he had to jump back right to the outside of the fence and had kind of a tense moment over there. So luckily JC was able to get that thing wound up, and Chris got some cool shots out of it.
Race photography is kind of a hazardous sport, I would think.
There's no question.
Here we go off turn number 4, green back in the air. Artherton leads him in. Here comes J.C. Morton. Morton with the good run down on the top side of the speedway, up on the top side of the speedway, I should say, as they battle through turns 3 and 4, looking for the lead off 4.
Here they come, start finish line, and in fact he'll have it by half a car length over the number 2 car. And now he'll try to stretch it out as they go down the back stretch into turn number 3.
J.C. Morton hooking the top side of the speedway, trying to get away from Artherton now. Cody Ryder doing a nice job in that 21 car up into the 3rd spot.
A little bit of trouble there. Rattery and Johnson getting together as they came into turn number 1. No harm done. We stay under green. White flag coming out.
A lot of rubbing down here in turn number 4 as Corey Johnson wearing out the right side of that race car. Final time, though, off turn number 4 down to the start-finish line, J.C. Morton. And Artherton finishing up in the number 2 spot. So, J.C. Morton is good to go for tonight's A main. And, you know, you kind of have to wonder. I know he would have rather started up towards the front of this field in the A main, but maybe running some laps here on the track in this condition, maybe he has a little bit better idea where his setup needs to be when it comes to A main time, provided we don't do some track work in between, and we'll see if that happens.
We see the old track czar over there in the middle of turns 1 and 2 taking a look at it right now, trying to decide what he might do.
I'm thinking it's pretty doggone good. I tell you, it's racing top to bottom. It's really smooth. It looks like, at least from our vantage point.
You know, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I hadn't been out here this year or not, but it looks wider than I remember. The racing line, you know, the raceable surface looks wider than I remember it being in the past. It really does look terrific.
We haven't ran into the problem. We have the last 2 races we've had here that started in the afternoon. Both of those where the sun was shining. The track was dried out immediately. Tonight, or this afternoon, it really held together really well. Held the moisture, I think, a little better than the last couple of times we've raced. But, yeah, you know what? Jerry's all the time thinking, what can I do to make the track better? He's all the time thinking about that.
You know, and it's for sure easier to prep a racetrack now than it is in, you know, July and August, for sure. Just ground temperature and air temperature and everything that goes into it. So It shouldn't be as difficult this time of year. As long as it's not frozen and there's not snow. And he did have to blade snow off of it earlier this week, though.
Jacob Blair up on the pole as we get ready to go green this next time by. Joplin in the second row. Keep your eye on him. The 87 up on the front. Justin Pike. Here we go.
Justin Pike picking up a win back in a couple of races ago in that number 87 car. His caution is already out for a problem in turn 1.
Interesting story there. Your pole sitter, Jacob Blair, in the 81. He's up just north of Kansas City. His home track, the I-35 Speedway in Winston, Missouri. He is a communications, journalism, some type major at school. He goes to Northwest Missouri State University. So on the Saturday nights, he races at Winston at I-35 Speedway. In between his races, he splits his time. Doesn't do a whole lot of work on the race car. He's got some help to do that. But he goes to the booth and broadcasts the races there with their track announcer. Pretty good broadcaster, too. No longer than he's been doing it. He's a young kid, bright, very sharp, got a good head on his shoulders, and loves to race and loves to call races and is really into broadcasting, too. So it's a pretty neat mix, and he adds a neat dynamic when he goes into the booth there. We had him on our broadcast from the USRA National Championships when we were up there back in October, and he does a great job.
Now, if you could get him to call a race while he's racing, that would be good.
So I have that technology, and we have in-race reporters. I've never tried to key the radio when they're green. That would be a challenge.
All right, here we go off the turn number 4, green back in the air. Justin Pike edging out in front. Good battle now between the 14 car. That's Kameron Grindstaff. And Jacob Blair and Grindstaff out in front.
Grindstaff going to the top spot in that number 14 car. As they race their way back into turn number 3, up on the top side, Justin Pike trying to hold on to that number 2 spot.
Daniel Anders trying to move forward as well in the 5 car. One of the only cars running up on the top side of the speedway. Got a good run on Joplin trying to move up into 4th.
Austin Joplin now down on the bottom side. Looks like he may lose that spot to the 5 car of Anders. No. Holds on, slides up in front of Anders. Nearly contact right between those 2 cars.
Down the back stretch they'll go into turns 3 and 4. Pike out in front. Grindstaff in the number 2 spot.
Off at turn number 2. Pike trying to hold on. Grindstaff's got a good run on that bottom side. Takes a look down on the bottom as they come off of turn number 4.
Single car length separating the top 2 as Jacob Blair back into the number 3 spot right now. Joplin in 4th. Anders trying to hang on to 5th.
As the laps click away, top 2 cars have pretty much pulled away from the field. As the white flag comes out, only one more lap to go for Justin Pike and the rest of these B mods.
Half a lap to go to come to the checkered flag, and they come off turn number 4. Justin Pike brings them in. Kameron Grindstaff finishes up in the number 2 spot, and Joplin finishes up in 3rd. Well, is this the All right, the Midwest Modifieds rolling out onto the racetrack.